The Amell brothers are back with the sequel to Code 8. This time we're ready to break it all down with our thoughts, our reactions, all that good stuff of the new film, Code 8 Part 2. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new film, Code 8 Part 2, coming to Netflix February 28th. So listen, as a fan of the Amell brothers, without a doubt, I was super excited to check out the first film. And I felt like my expectations of the first film definitely set the bar very high, and I came in a little underwhelmed with it. But I certainly was definitely going to check out the second one because I thought that they did lay a substantial foundation of possibilities for the second one, the sequel here, that could absolutely outdo everything that the first one had sort of established. But with this one, I gotta say, it feels like a lot of the same. There was moments where the action was there was moments where there was action, but it kind of didn't give you a lot. I mean, the fact that you're dealing with people with superpowers or enhanced abilities, you're getting it sometimes, you're getting it not. I kind of just wish it was just a little bit more. But I will say that as a fan of the Amell brothers, I'm always happy to see them on screen. For one, not seeing them on screen together is not something you get often. I think, I don't know, what was it? The Arrowverse is probably the last time I think I recall them being on screen together, besides the previous film. But Robbie has been putting out like fantastic work, and I think Robbie just has so much range in his acting that I just continue to want to see him grow in his career. And then Steven is a prominent action star, so I feel like any project he's on is obviously going to be noteworthy, at least to give some level of a watch or attention to one way or another. But the two of them together, I wanted to definitely see what they were going to bring more and different from the first one. But again, I feel like it was just a lot of the same. There was moments where things were super intriguing, and then there was moments where it was just kind of diving into the drama a lot more than I was looking to have. But nonetheless, straight up, I think this was a good film for straight to Netflix. If this was a theatrical release, I may be a little bit more cautious about wanting to direct folks to it. But without a doubt, when it releases on Netflix February 28th, I think it's certainly worth a watch. With that being said, this is the sequel to Code 8. This takes place about 5 years after the first one. So Connor, who's Robbie's character now, he's out of prison. He's working at a community center, and he's just trying to get his life back in order and whatnot. And he tries to keep his hand clean from everything he was involved with the first one. But we got this situation now where the cops, who is led by Sergeant King, they got this new canine dog that's apparently out here trying to do the work for them. But this is just all attached to police corruption. You can even go as far as saying police brutality here. And that affects this 14-year-old girl, Pav, who sees this. And with her being exposed to this, witnessing this, should I say, could expose what she saw, and that could be problematic for this little secret covert corruption that Sergeant King is operating here. So now all target is on her, which leads her to needing linking up with Connor, and Connor is trying to protect her. However, this has him now happen to link back up with Garrett, who Garrett is the reason he's even in jail in the first place. So there's definitely no love lost there, and there's still a lot of bad blood. But for the greater good of what they're trying to accomplish, along with saving this 14-year-old girl, and also being able to expose Sergeant King and everything he's trying to do, this puts enemies of my enemy is my friend type of thing here. So with that being said, Again, very simple plot here. This thing isn't reinventing the wheel. I did enjoy Robbie and Steven. They have their moments together, as you would expect. They're brothers, so of course they're going to have really good moments of chemistry and really amplifying dynamics in a way that actors could certainly do. But when you're blood, you could really test each other to really invoke those feelings and emotions out of each other. And then, with our with Pav, this young girl, I think you sympathize with her journey because what happens affects her really closely, and the fact that this is a little bit of a life and death situation for her. You rally for the safety of this character. You want to see her ultimately get to a point of not being targeted, but also you want to see that she's a part of this whole effort of exposing the corruption. She has powers too, so it's cool. And then when you get Garrett and he uses his power, these are some great moments, but at other times, you wish for a little bit more. And there's some other little things that happen in there. As far as the K9 dogs, I guess I guess is all I can say. It kind of reminds me of that toy back in the day, the little robot dog. So I could never really take them serious at all, but I guess if that's the angle we want to work here. But they're the new technology that the force is using to take down folks out here that's causing corruption in the streets and using their powers, and they don't want that happening. Trying to stop folks from overdosing and all of that sort, but also at the same time too, there's some other, as I say, hidden intention. So, but I'll be honest, sign me up for part 3. I'm still on board with this one. I didn't love this film. I didn't hate it. Again, for it to be released into Netflix as a streaming movie, my expectations, especially coming off of the first one, wasn't set too high like the first one, but very much set very marginally in this one, where I'm like, okay, just either be better than the first one or be within that same breath. And that's what this one did. It's definitely within that same breath of very mid, C. Could have really did more with the action. I think that with the action, definitely could have took things to the next level. I think the fact that there was characters that was sort of introduced in this, and you're kind of wondering wait, what? Did I miss something? Definitely parts where I had found myself trying to rewind this a little bit. Did I miss something? Because they definitely were in certain characters as if you had already knew who they were and sort of knew their role and so on. So, I'm not such a fan of that, especially because you're giving them screen time and you're kind of I would like to know a little bit more so I can just kind of know how to invest in this character. Hell, there's a character in the very beginning. I'm still not sure if this character is a good or a bad guy. I think they're presenting him as a bad guy, but then when you look back, it only makes sense that he's a good guy for everything, for the rest of the story to even make sense. So there was stuff like that I thought they could have did a little bit better in terms of fleshing out some of these characters if you're going to have them a part of the story. But ultimately, when it comes down to our top 3, our leads, and even in our main antagonists here, there's definitely more they could have worked with. But for what they did, again, very mid C grade in terms of it for me. So. But yeah, check out Code 8 Part 2, again, on Netflix, February 28th. If you checked out the first one, I'm sure you want to see what the sequel is all about. And if you had not checked out the first one, definitely want to go and check that one out. Do not think this is the film you can just jump into not seeing it first, because you kind of need to understand some of the beef between these characters. I mentioned about, Connor coming out of jail and Garrett being the one who had to get in there, but you really got to get a good dose of the dynamic between the two of them, because the first one explains that, and so some of it will kind of go over your head in this, because there's a lot of semi backstabbing going on, but you got to kind of understand these characters' psychology to really understand why it is occurring in the way it did. Otherwise, you're kind of just way thrown off, and even more so wondering if you missed anything. But yeah, check it out, folks. Jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about it once you do. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.